Hello, and welcome to our first episode of Unearthing Movement. My name is Trevor Edwards, and I am the director here at SOMA Center for Dance. And I am joined here today with my assistant director, Tori Lynn, and our marketing director, Chloe Shireman. Hey, guys.
Hello.
So, let's get into this.
Maybe we should mention that this is in fact our second time recording this.
This is. Yeah, we already recorded an entire, fiasco this morning that didn't save. All you girly pops are missing out on what happened before, but the good thing about this go-around is Miss Tori just walked in the door, so now we're joined by a guest on our first ever episode. That's not really a guest, she's actually here all the time.
I was just working today. Couldn't be here before now.
Oh my god. So everyone, it's Pink Shoe Day here at SOMA. And so Chloe is going to kind of guide us through some questions, and we're going to get into that and kind of let you know a little bit about who we are. So we chose the name Unearthing Movement because our mission and vision here at SOMA is to unearth movement as a vital form of expression for all people everywhere, because we believe that every body is a dance body regardless of your race, your size, your orientation, or any other factor. So here at SOMA we believe that everyone is capable of pursuing excellence in dance, and that's why we're here.
Of course.
Yeah.
So maybe we should start off by just telling us a little bit about what SOMA is.
Okay, so SOMA began for me. I was actually out of college. I had danced with this company called Numinous Flex, and I was in Nashville doing that. I was also dancing with John Lear over in New York, and he was flying me all around. And I was working at Workplace for Dancers, which is a amazing studio ran by Jesse Peralta over in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Living there as well, so I was balancing a lot of things, also working at Altered State, believe it or not. I was one of the managers at Altered State down there. So I was just doing a lot, and my director, Laura Valentine, said that she had a vision for me, and that she had a dream that I was pulling gold from the earth. So I was really searching inside of myself at the time. This is back in 2019. And I ended up going to Barren River Lake, and when I was there, I just walked out into the forest. I didn't really want to follow a path. I kind of wanted to just explore. I don't know, my soul was just calling me to go into the forest, and I had found this gold balloon that was shattered all over the earth. And I had went back to Hendersonville that night, and I fell asleep with my partner at the time, and we had both had the same prophetic dream. And then we were searching on Facebook Marketplace later that day, and the first place that we moved into, where SOMA originally was, pulled up, and then everything kind of fell into place. And we even got our mirrors that we still use to this day for free, because there was a pole dancing studio next to this coffee shop that he worked at that had closed down. So they were like, yeah, we're just going to throw away all these mirrors. So everything kind of just fell into our lap to open up this dance studio. And we met with the people that had the place that we had first rented, and they were like, oh, you two are perfect. We were calling for people like you to come in and be with us in this community. My wife was searching for friends, and then that's kind of how SOMA was formed. And then when I first formed SOMA, it was me and my business partner, Abby Lutz, and Christopher Hobdy, who was my partner at the time. But now it's just me and Tori that runs SOMA. And Tori was actually just a tap teacher when she started, but now Tori is everything to these kids, and I couldn't imagine being here without Tori. But the real vision behind bringing SOMA to this community was when I was growing up, I went to a local dance studio here and learned as much as I could, and then when I got to college, my professors were actually like, you know what, you don't know enough. You should think about switching to another major. You didn't learn enough from your home studio. They didn't teach you the right terminology. And I really let that light a fire under and I started to really dig my heels in. And by my senior year, I was president of the National Dance Education WKU student chapter. We had taken my work all across America at the time. I had performed in Connecticut. I'd taken stuff to ACDA when we went to Georgia, I think it was. And I'd really just let dance become my whole personality. So I really took in everything that I possibly could from those professors at WKU, and I'm really grateful for my time there. And I had also, by the time I was a senior, I was dancing in 2 dance companies and kind of just doing it all. So I wanted to be able to bring back a true form of dance education to this community so that kids could go to college and feel secure their first semester and move into those higher level classes immediately, or even take their experience to Juilliard, because I feel like our students are going to be capable of going anywhere they want to go when they leave here.
Adding on to like what is SOMA compared to, I guess, other studios from an outside perspective, and me being a teacher at SOMA when it originally started and then rolling into the role as a assistant director, is SOMA is unique in the way that it is a studio that offers classes but also a pre-professional program. So you can come and take classes at SOMA without having the pressure of getting onto stage and dancing in front of people. If you're not comfortable with that, you can just come into the class and explore in this safe area. But if you want to pursue the next step in the arts, which is getting on the stage, creating and performing out there for people to see, we offer that side of it as well. That's not all one bundle, it's 2 separate things for our kids to take a deeper dive into the arts.
Not only that, but we also have a traveling competitive team. We don't really believe in taking students to competitions because we feel like if you're just sending your kids somewhere to put them on stage, you might as well put them on stage in your own community so your community can take part in what you're doing. But we do send our kids to conventions so that they can go perform their dances, but more importantly, learn from all of those people that are judging them and take class from them. So we also do have a traveling team, but it's not really, I wouldn't say that it's really competitive. I don't really believe in competition. I think that competition is based in, a hierarchical mindset and a patriarchal mindset. And when you put people on a pedestal above you, that's creating division between the two rather than being a community. And we really believe in dance as a community effort. And we think that everyone can rise together. Everyone might be at different points in their dance journey, and some people might perform as a soloist, but that doesn't mean that the soloist is better than the tiny, smallest fish on stage in The Little Mermaid. Everyone is just as important, and that's really part of our mission here.
Of course. You guys are so inspiring. Seriously. My stomach growling. Oops. But so inspiring, both of you. Seriously, sitting here with them is literally, I already feel, it's just uplifting. I'm so happy to be here, guys. Swear jar thing.
We're going to have to keep a swear jar here for how many times you say guys.
Yeah. I'm sorry, everybody.
So what's your journey? How did you end up here at SOMA?
Well, I've been dancing ever since I was 2. So, dance has been a part of my entire life. It's such an outlet for me for expression. And my senior year, I was on the Barron County High School dance team and realized that my stamina and my choreography retention, like things like that, were just so weak because I was lacking that studio experience. And of course, we have talked multiple times, maybe we need to elaborate more on the podcast, but dance team and a dance studio, they're 2 opposite ends of the spectrum. And like going out and performing at a basketball game is never the same of like actually being here in the studio at class. And I had a meeting with Trevor. I remember we were literally sitting over there. It was me, you, and my mom. And you had actually just done the first Dolly show. Actually.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, that's
cool.
Come to Dolly, coming up. In a town near you.
That's good. That's good.
But I remember that meeting, and I remember you saying, I need Chloe here right now.
Yeah,
I
for
remember
sure.
that, of course. And, maybe, I'm trying to think.
I think
my
it was
first
just me trying to express that, like, when you're on a dance team, it's great for what it is, but it's not providing you with all the technical aspects and the training that you do when you are in a dance studio.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think with dance team, like my performance quality and like being like that close in like a basketball game setting where they're up so like my facials and everything, I owe a lot of that to dance team. The sass.
Girl.
Dance team.
Exactly.
Yeah, put me
And I
in
think
my...
Tori has her own dance team.
I do. I did dabble in the dance team thing for a little bit. Well, first off,
We'll go back to your story.
You gotta hear that.
Okay. I have the dance team like drama experience.
Let us know.
Yeah, I was homeschooled until I went to public school in the 8th grade. And I started public school 8th grade. Awful time to start public school, let me just say that. And then I joined dance team.
Okay,
Yeah. I joined dance team because I danced my whole life at a studio that was not the same as SOMA. It was a very much hobby studio. Everyone danced together in our recitals, very traditional. And I was like, oh, let me try this dance team thing because all my friends at the studio that go to the opposite school that I do are on dance team. So I'm going to try it at my own school. And 8th grade wasn't awful on dance team. It was very drama filled. Wasn't quite my cup of tea, but I was like, okay, we'll retry it in high school, see how it goes. Got to high school. That's when I really learned it wasn't my cup of tea.
Let them know the story.
So here's my dance team tea story. First off, I'm a freshman who is put in the center front of every single formation. That already starts drama on the dance team because I'm a freshman. And the seniors are like, excuse me, earn your spot.
Let me stop here because I share this sentiment. I don't think it matters how old you are.
No.
If you're the best, you're the best, baby. Okay.
No, it doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter, but it did in their like hierarchy of, underclassmen, upperclassmen.
Of course.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
And so then one day, first off, our choreographer who came in my freshman year to choreograph had just recently graduated the year before. So she was on dance team with the sophomores, juniors, and seniors previously. They were all friends. And then at our very first football game, we're all in the bathroom, but the public bathroom was what was the dance team's locker room because, we weren't cool enough to actually have an actual place to go. And we were all in there, and I noticed that the seniors and the choreographer are passing around a McDonald's cup. Okay, well, I'm not stupid. I know what's in this McDonald's cup, especially... Diet Coke. Especially with me being the little vindictive person I am, go, hey, can I have a drink? And they go, no. So I went to a counselor the next day because I was friends with this counselor. Her daughter danced with me at the studios, and her youngest daughter was actually a kid that I was currently teaching. And so I went to her, and I was like, hey, just so you know, I'm pretty sure the choreographer was giving alcohol to the seniors last night at the football game because they were passing around a McDonald's cup, and they wouldn't let anybody else have it. Just a little suspicious. And then the next practice, I got completely ignored by the coach and all of the dancers, and I did not dance the entire time and just stood in the middle of the formation, and no one ever got mad at me, no one ever yelled at me, no one ever said a single word to me. And so about 30 minutes into the practice, I just left and called my mom, and then I let the choreographer know the next day that I would be quitting, and that was the end of it.
We are so glad to have you here, Tori. We are so glad.
And I said, dance team, not my cup of tea.
Back to your dance team moment.
What was that?
See, I told you you needed to hear it.
Goodness! A McDonald's too, a little.
Well, my thing is like,
change.
look, if you're I can't tell you what to do as an individual, but in the role of responsibility, don't be giving it to the underclass. Don't be giving it to minors just because you were friends previously. Like, that's not acceptable.
No, in the public /dance team locker room.
Yeah.
That story's so juicy. Back to this. I remember having that meeting. My first show with SOMA was the Nutcracker.
Our first year that we did the Nutcracker, we wanted to stray away from the archetypes that the Nutcracker contains with different races. So we turned all of those races into different animals to try to steer away from the racism that is apparent in the Nutcracker. We'll leave it there and come back to that conversation another
of course,
time.
when we discuss maybe come back or something.
Yeah.
But first show was the Nutcracker. Loved the experience. It was everything. I do miss being at the Plaza. That was so fun. And the lights and just everything. It was, it's so, I don't know, like a priceless experience, I think. It's worth everything. All the practice, all the time, every single thing. But maybe I should elaborate. I was not taking SOMA very seriously, Trevor. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
But I think it really solidified who I am today at SOMA, and I'm like, I need to prove Trevor I'm here, I want to be here so bad. I had, after Nutcracker, I was in the Green Thumb too, I forgot about that. That was such a pretty show, I forgot. Dang it, I loved that show. We need to do it again. Please.
It
might come back soon.
Oh yes, it was a lot of
It was a lot for me.
I'm there. Okay.
But I needed that show. It was a lot, but I needed it.
It was a release.
It was a good
release
from my personal life.
Your soul.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
And that's what Cleopatra is for me, is a release.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but continuing forward.
And wasn't taking SOMA very seriously, very focused on dance team. I was caring more about going in front of all my friends and shaking my booty instead of actually training. Oh,
and being a real good Judy.
Oh,
sorry. The rhyme. That was
And
gross.
I ended up pulling out of SOMA. At the very end of my senior year, I was like, I'm too far gone. My training, everything, I just was so burnt out. Dance burnout. I think it's so real. It can happen very easily.
No, it can. I think
especially
it's happened
juggling
to us
those
probably
different,
too.
Those different like opportunities that you have, like juggling all. I don't know how you do it. I'm serious. I'm surprised you don't have a little personal assistant running around. Like,
I do.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Me, Tori, our assistant director.
Girl, things would not be as successful as they are without Tori's brain. And I always say she is the right side of the brain, and I am the left side of the brain.
Yes.
Not that we don't have extending qualities across both, because Tori is very, very creative. I don't mean that she's not creative when I say that, but I mean that she works in a more analytical way, and I work in a more like kind of way.
And then there's times I'm like, Trevor, we gotta rein it in. We gotta do. It's like, no, just go with the flow for a little bit. It'll be okay.
I hear you guys bounce off. Yes, absolutely. And I don't even remember where I was in the story.
We got to the Green Thumb, pulled out the dance,
pulled out,
and now we're
You
back.
wanted to shake your booty.
I wanted to shake my booty in front of my ex-boyfriends. That's the bottom line. I graduated high school.
I think that's a normal part of life.
Oh,
Shake
yes.
your booty in front of your ex-boyfriend?
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, that's what TikTok is for, of course. Now we have different outlets for that.
It
and
was
I should have
mine.
used.
I want Vine to come back. I just want Vine to come back.
Understandable. Those little 7s, they were everything.
They were.
But signed up for college, whatever, had great financial aid, ended up getting my entire school paid for.
So
now
amazing.
now I'm in school for marketing and business. And the lore of this story. Okay, my best friend Priscilla, hi P, I know she's watching. She said she was so excited to hear what we had to say. She comes to me one day and is like, you have to go to Phantom. Trevor's been hyping it up. It's literally going to be everything. It's supposed to be, like, she was talking about it like it was the actual Phantom of the Opera, and I was pretty excited. No clue the twist.
She didn't tell you?
No! She wanted me to be surprised, though. But I was in tears, seeing all those girls and how much they had grown, because I hadn't been there in
Well, other people
like
know
a
the
year.
twist.
I thought you would give us a twist when we were talking about...
We'll get to the Phantom twist. We'll get to the Phantom twist.
We'll get to the Phantom twist, but go back.
Okay. And I remember after the show, I went up to Trevor and was like, beautiful show, as always, never disappointing.
Thank you.
Of course.
Gratitude. But also, Tori, it's a combined effort.
It is, very much so. I do. We are a whole community in here. I feel like it's every.
But it's always funny because people, like, all the boys are like, who is that girl on stage? And it's always Tori. And I'm like, she's a grown. Every time. All the boys are like,
I'm so sorry,
that girl. Yeah. That's one of our teachers, Miss Tori. Anyway. Wow!
I'm not very tall, so.
Anyway, I got a really cute outfit to wear to Tori's wedding.
Oh, really? So
And,
excited.
Yeah. And we're also going to go to Dollywood.
Hollywood?
Yeah, for her little, like, what's it
My
called?
the bachelorette party,
Absolutely.
whatever it is, bridal party.
Yeah.
That was so fun.
Yeah.
So excited to hear about it. Don't party too hard. I know you guys. You're gonna wear that little butterfly corset. I already know.
Props, yeah.
We gotta go through it in a minute. Look.
Stay tuned. I'm trying to think how.
So then you came to Phantom.
Oh,
you
absolutely.
Watched
the show.
after
Was
the
like,
show.
miss it so much. Have to be back in the experience. I just missed being behind the scenes. Of course, it's amazing being an audience member, but I think when you have been behind the scenes and you see all the magic that's like going on, I just wanted to be a part of it again so bad. I sent Trevor an email and was like, "Hey guys, you missed me? I want to come back. Please find a job." And I sent him my resume, and I think you can take the story away. Yeah.
So then it becomes Nutcracker season, and we put that show on in how many weeks, Tori? Was it 8 weeks?
Maybe it was 6. It was 6 to 8-ish.
6 to 8 weeks we put on the entire Nutcracker.
Yeah.
And
with littles as snow.
Yeah, we decided to really take this year to focus on our younger dancers. So we did snow with some of our youngest dancers, which is kind of unheard of because everyone that knows the Nutcracker knows that snow is the most beautiful song. So I don't know if even their parents realize this, but we really took one of the greatest parts of the Nutcracker and gifted it to these young children so that they could then grow into,
And they've grown a lot. That group, their retention and musicality and their awareness of being able to match shapes immediately has gotten so much better than...
And just like stage presence and stage awareness has like really developed since then. But needless to say, we did not respond to Miss Chloe because we were in the trenches of...
We said, can't deal with this right now, can't deal with this.
So then Nutcracker rolls around. Chloe comes back to see the Nutcracker.
Of course, have to come back and see.
And she walks up and she says, "You have to respond to my email. I need you to go look in your email." So then from there, everything else is
fallen into place.
And now you are here as our marketing director.
I'm so happy to be here.
To
Best job ever, guys. Working with these people, I like a job.
And then I guess we could talk about some of the behind the scenes people that are like
kind of
our
we need to mention them, give them Absolutely.
My first thought when you said earlier that you missed all the lights at the plaza. Well, our lighting designer, Wesley Peden, has actually purchased lights for SOMA to use here in the studio when we have our in-house shows and at Glasgow High School. So we'll get some of those LED moving around and the changing colors and all of that people love about the plaza. Wes has gotten that for us so we can have it no matter where we go.
Period.
Yes. And then Wes does, at the shows, Wes sometimes will do backdrops for us and various, like, media design, but then Trevor also does some of that stuff. That's kind of the two of them putting their brains together. But Wes always does our lighting. And then Wesley's wife, Haley Peden, is our costumer. So when Trevor or I give her a piece of material or even an idea, and I'm like, this is what I need this to look like, she goes, okay, and just makes it happen. Very rarely is she like, I can't do that.
So recently there was a pair of pants that we had for a tap number that you're doing that she turned into skirts for the little girls because the pants were too big.
We had an adult small that she had to make fit on a child that wears 6'8" clothing.
So she turned it into a little skirt. Yeah, so she's a magician. She's a magician. Wesley's a wizard. And then we have our acting coach, Mr. Mason, who, if you know Mr. Mason, you know him, you love him.
Obviously.
Oh, the kids love
We got to get him on the pod soon.
Oh, yes. Mason on the pod.
Then we have our set master and carpenters are Brittany Jones, River Maddie, and Christopher Gillespie and his dad, Tommy Gillespie. I'm sorry, I talk about Tommy all the time because he makes stuff for us constantly.
What it was for me is one time I didn't know who is Tommy, and she'd just be talking about Tommy, and I'm like, who are you? Like, I'm just like, who are you talking about? And then I found out that it was her. Yeah. He's such a sweet
But
man.
they help create all the sets, and then every now and then as well, Brittany's husband, Robert, will help with some things at home if we need that. And then our prop master is Tracy Martin, She creates all kinds of random things that we need on stage. Sometimes it's headpieces. Sometimes it's a porcupine costume because Haley said, I don't know how to do that. And Tracy said, I got it.
So she made some beautiful bluebird and cardinal wings for Snow White. And I said, well, I would love to have a set of 8 sparrow wings for little Sparrow for our upcoming Dolly show. So she has been drowning in feathers on mine.
Yes.
But
yes.
She told me this the other day. She brought me the new sparrow wings.
Yes.
And I said, you never cease to raise the bar. Like every time that she
They're
does
beautiful.
something, it gets better and better.
Yeah.
And she said, that's so funny because I just told Haley, you think I can just like half this? And she was like, Haley said I was already too far in to start doing that now. So she continues to raise the bar, and I think that's what we all have in common here at SOMA is everyone wants to raise the bar with everything that we do.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
And make each new thing a little bit better than what it is before.
Of course. Maybe we should get into a little bit about company and what company is. I know that there's all these different aspects. I do want to hear more about it, of course.
Yeah. So do you want to talk about the audition process a little bit, Tori? And then we can talk about like the not environment, but like what company, like our values for company. I think I'll hit on that.
Okay. So the audition process for company is we run it very similar to an audition that these students would go to if they were auditioning for a professional job, a summer intensive, a college program, even a week-long intensive. Any situation out in the world that we have seen once we got older, we are wanting to give our students that experience when they're younger, so it's not as stressful when you walk into it, because I know the first audition I went to, I was stressed out and had no idea what to expect. So our kids come in, they have to fill out a form prior to in the past we've done it on paper, we've now changed it to digital so they can fill it out before they show up.
You know us, looking out for the environment.
Yeah, and so it's just, the form is general information about you, but then we have our students upload a dance resume and a headshot, an arabesque shot, a jump shot, and a creative shot. And then we, at the end of the semester, not immediately after the audition, at the end of the semester, we look through those, give the kids feedback, and give it back to them so they can fix it for the audition that is in like 2 weeks. If we give it to them 4 months in advance, they're going to forget about those edits. But then they come in, they get a number that they will then safety pin to themselves, and they audition as that number. So when we refer to them, we'll say, okay, we want to see numbers 4, 5, and 6. Then they have to come out, dance as numbers 4, 5, and 6 in sequence order, and stand at the end to present themselves. Sometimes we'll ask them questions. We'll have them like step forward and say, okay, what is your name and what role would you like in this production, to work on their speech in front of, directors, people that have made them nervous, to help them when they get into someone they don't know and they can speak loudly. So yeah.
And then just to mention our values with company, recently, I know you and I have talked a lot about this, and you can definitely touch on this, but like we said, we run it as if it's a real dance company, and there's definitely a system that we have, and Mr. Mason has talked a lot about this, but he says that you and I have a path, or like a roadmap for you joining company. So if you're a younger dancer and you're coming in for the first time, you're definitely not going to get a principal role. And that's because you haven't worked with us one-on-one in the setting, and a lot of time principal roles are going to take 5 to 6 days of rehearsal a week on top of what you're already doing in your normal classes. Those principal dancers are usually the most versatile dancers because our shows frequent all styles of dance, and we want the dancers that we showcase to be able to tap, have ballet, have hip-hop skills, have jazz skills, have modern skills, be able to do contemporary. We want those principal dancers to kind of be a fully evolved human of what SOMA fully stands for, and we really value a versatile dancer. So if you're coming in for the first time, you haven't been able to study with us for more than 2 or 3 years, you're probably not going to get that lead role. However, you will definitely be put into a spot where you will be celebrated for the gifts that you're already bringing in. So just like any other company, people that become principal dancers are people that have been with that company for 3 to 4 or 5 years, that have trained with these choreographers and know the way that these choreographers communicate. Because we've been putting up shows quicker and quicker, how many weeks did we have to put up Snow White?
3.
We put Snow White up in 3 weeks. So
I did some choreography in class, like maybe 15% of the choreography in class the semester before, but then we had Christmas break and an entire week off of snow days, so that was 3 weeks of no rehearsal, and then we put the whole show up in 3 weeks.
And we actually had, and you hear things through the grapevine, we had a parent that, didn't want to do Snow White because they were upset that, they didn't get the dwarf. Well, they were cast as an animal, but regardless, they ended up not doing the show. Well, our animals had the same amount of stage time as the dwarfs, so a lot of times, if not more,
literally,
a lot of times people just don't understand what the vision is, and behind all of our shows, Tori and I really base it on the standards that we've set for each level.
Yes.
So, for example, what was our focus with Snow White educationally? It was pushing forward the tappers.
We wanted to showcase the variety of tappers that we have at the studio because we haven't had a lot of moments to showcase a large group. It's usually been duets and trios, and so it's always been the most accelerated tappers. And so that was an opportunity for me to pull in some of the lower tappers into the dwarves. And when I say lower, I mean not like top tier, be like second place kind of. And then I even was able to put some of my intermediate tappers, like my beginner intermediate tappers, into the animals because I needed tap there as well. And so there were a total of, I want to say 10 or 11 tappers in all of Snow White. And in the past, I've only been able to have maybe 3 on stage at a time due to those things. And for our intermediate kids, which were our animals, Snow White for them was really their idea of showcasing their acting skills and their performance skills and how can they develop their character because they each had an individual animal. And so while I gave them the choreography, they had to take that choreography and then figure out how would my animal do this movement.
What was also so epic about that group of kids is the amount of props that we had on stage.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And I remember one of the youngest kids raising their hand and being like, the tree's not set in the right location, Miss Tori. Talking to the older girls, so they really learned a lot about what it is to dress a stage. And
they had to make sure their props went to the exact spot that it had to go to.
And if you've never been to a SOMA show, it's not a dance recital. We don't believe in those. Those are boring, old, dead, past. Go.
And then I fell asleep.
Recitals are dead, and a SOMA show, you're getting what it is. It's a show. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, another thing is that Snow White, the person that played Snow White, she's definitely not a tapper.
No.
But we were able to take her best attribute, her point dancing. Miss Bella is, she teaches our youngest level of ballet. She's been through the teacher training program. We have weekly meetings to talk with all of our younger teachers about our standards, and we do a SWOT analysis.
I want to take tap one from Dakota.
You should, because she's going to get you together.
She literally would set me in place.
Yes, walk in there and take it with her.
And not in like a set you in place, but in like a, okay, let's
I've never tapped before. I need tap.
Yeah, she will get you together.
Absolutely.
But it was able to showcase Bella in her best light as a point. Dancer.
Absolutely.
And that's what we had point on stage with tap, and I think that's
it was so much fun.
It was so awesome. Let's go ahead and talk about Dolly, shall we?
Yes, let's talk about Dolly.
I'll let Tori mention it, and I'm going to go get some merchandise.
Oh. Okay, so Dolly is obviously a show full of Dolly Parton, if you couldn't tell by all the, hints and the merch over there, the big sign.
Where's
not
Betsy?
The merch, but like Betsy? Is that Betsy?
Yeah.
Is that what we're calling it?
It's
not Dolly?
baby.
Okay, whatever. So it's a show all about Dolly Parton. We have a full of Dolly music. Clothes are very Dolly inspired.
Oh, very.
Hair very Dolly inspired at some points.
This is the second time we've done this show.
The first time we did this show was in 2021. So it was like COVID was still a thing, but it was fiddling away, but you still couldn't have events out in the public world. So we did it in a studio showcase, following all regulations of how many people we allowed into our studio to watch all the work that these kids were putting into their dancing, since they couldn't go out into the plaza or into another venue and bring in a lot of the public. We at least wanted to showcase it to their families. And everyone had a blast doing it last time. And the girls still talk about it, and Jackson will still talk about it all the time. I say girls, Jackson's the only boy that has been in Dolly's the first time. And they just loved it. And anytime we pull up any of those old songs, some of them will still do the combos, like they remembered it from 3 years ago. So we thought it would be a fun thing to bring back, considering we have so many new students.
And now that Dolly has released a new rock album, we've expanded the show. It's almost 2 times as long. We've created new numbers for all the older girls to participate in. And our goal is to get Dolly Parton here to see our studio. So we're doing it in studio again.
Yes.
And the reasoning for that is we are currently working on a fundraiser to expand our floor space. If you don't know anything about dance, we dance on a marley floor, and that is a very expensive surface to purchase. Not only that, but we have to make the floor float underneath it so that it can help with this shock absorption of the dancers. And this is a fun fact. I don't know if you know this, but professional basketball players usually jump in one singular game about 60 to 75 times, whereas a professional dancer will jump about 250 to 300 times in one singular class. So it's very important that any studio you're going to has this flooring set up, especially if they're going to be dancing on point. And we want to bring people into our space so they can see our need for expanding our floor, but also we wanted to create a more intimate showcase. A lot of the stuff that we do has been very outward bound and theatrical, but we wanted to bring the people into our space so that we can have a more intimate setting. And we're actually going to be doing this for 2 weekends, so the weekend of March 16th and the following weekend. So we'll have 2 weekends of shows. I hope that you can find some time to come out and see us. Anything else on Dolly, Tori?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I have something else. Look at this cute little bag. Howdy, howdy, howdy. So we have these little baggies for sale. This is going to be one of our fundraisers for the floor. And we have this Let's Get Rowdy koozie that says Let's Go Girl on the back in here. You can also get this Giddy Up claw clip. Yes, you can. You can also get one of these What Would Dolly Do iridescent keychains. You can also get some of these What Would Dolly Do earrings in here, which are so cute,
A lot of the girls have been rocking these.
They surely have.
Especially
we also
little
have this enamel pin that says What Would Dolly Do with a little boot. And then we
It's a
have
red boot,
not one,
gold
not
accents.
2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 of the telly ties in here. So purchase one of these. How much is this, Tori? Tell them.
$15.
$15. And honey, don't you worry. We still have some smalls in our In Dolly We Trust t-shirts. So come on out, get some merch, help us raise money for our floor. We are so excited. And also, be sure to follow us on all of our socials at Facebook at SOMA-Center for Dance, on Instagram at SOMA Moves, on TikTok at SOMA Moves, at our website, www.somaky.org. And if you have any questions, feel free to just come in and see us in the studio or call us online.
You forgot to remember our heels class.
Oh, you mean
Heels class?
That's right. We have an adult heels class that meets on Fridays at 7:30 p.m. And before that, you want to talk about what you also do on Fridays?
We have our adult cardio craze / workout class at 6:15 to 7:15, where we just sweat, lift weights, work out, do some line dancing, stretch a little bit at the end. It's a lot of fun. I was actually kind of sore on Saturday for the first time ever of me teaching. I was like, oh my gosh. Usually I don't get like that winded in that cardio class, but it got me this week. It got me.
Right.
So we got all kinds of levels out there.
Come get got, and we surely will see you on later. So without further ado, get your hats, ladies.
Oh,
See you later.